All right, let's talk about the patriarchy a little bit. This is probably the favorite topic of my audience. My audience just loves talking about the patriarchy. No, that's not true. So we're going to look at a clip. It's an interesting clip. Jason Whitlock was on Tucker Carlson's daytime program. Now, the difference between Tucker Carlson's daytime program and nighttime program is that Tucker wears less formal clothes on the daytime program, but it's just as wacky. It's really no different. Jason Whitlock is a journalist who came from the sports world and has become more and more of a cultural critic. The right wing really has taken to Jason Whitlock. He's sort of like an anti-woke, tell it like it is type guy, and the things he tells like they are as he sees them are very often wrong and extraordinarily reactionary. And Jason Whitlock on the Tucker program talked about how not only is he probably a sexist, but that the patriarchy is a good thing and sort of like it's all good because we need to keep women in their roles. Now, this is a clip from 2022. It's not a clip from 1952. And I know many of you might say, wow, the video quality is so good for what we would expect to hear in 1952. No, this is from this week. And Tucker seems to know he can't agree with the guest openly because that could be problematic for him. But he does the thing where he says, that's not an opinion you're allowed to have right now. And so he's kind of like indirectly saying like, wow, that's an opinion you can really get in trouble for. But I don't disagree with it one bit. So let's just get into the clip and then we'll kind of pause as needed.
But I probably am a sexist pig, so I could care less if I'm called that. But the patriarchy is...
Now, he should be saying, I couldn't care less. You would think a journalist like Jason Whitlock would know that, but that's okay. This isn't about that. It's about the substance.
Good thing. It's what God intended. Men are supposed to lead. Men are supposed to be out front, taking risk. We're responsible. I have some ministers on my show every Wednesday, and we talk about it all the time. And again, let's see if you have a biblical worldview.
It's shocking that the ministers agree with the patriarchal view, huh?
In the garden, Adam and Eve, when things go haywire, God shows up and calls out, Adam, where are you at? Hey, basically he says, excuse my language, shit ain't right here. Adam, what are you doing? I left you in charge. And God is looking down at us right now, at men, and just, what are you doing? Why are you laying down? Why are you pretending that Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Stacey Abrams...
How do none of them know how to pronounce Kamala Harris, by the way?
That they can save us. They can save this world. This is lunacy. Out of her role, completely. And I'm sorry if that paints me as a sexist pig, but it's what I believe.
Well, that's just an epithet designed to make you be quiet. But I guess
right. Listen, when you talk about how these women are not fit to lead because they're women and that they're trying to be out of their roles, when people call you a sexist, they're just trying to silence you. It's just an epithet. What?
I wonder why is that? Why are you not allowed to have that opinion? Why is that so controversial? That was the opinion of every society, like from the beginning of time until about 20 minutes ago.
Now that is actually what I want to focus on, what Tucker says there. There's this bigger movement about the natural patriarchy. And this is a movement that wants to explain what might appear to be unfair inequality when it comes to gender or discrimination against women. They want to explain it away by saying there is a natural patriarchy, whether it's biological or genetic or whatever the case may, neurological and so that this is a very important movement, and they wrongly believe the way Tucker Carlson says that it's always been the way of humanity until, as he says 20 minutes ago, until the woke era, until recently. And it's just not true. Now, as many of you know, I have no interest in repeating tropes and talking points on this show that aren't true. So, for example, when you don't hear this anymore that much because, I don't know, society has moved on. But remember 77 cents on the dollar? You would always hear women make 77 cents on the dollar compared to men. It wasn't true. And we studied it. And what we found out was that women made about 91 cents on the dollar. Now, it's still an inequality, and there's a lot to look at. And it's, well, what are some of the reasons why that is? And let's explore it. And what portion of that is due to discrimination on a gender basis? And let's explore all of it. But I'm not going to repeat 77 cents when I know it to be 91 cents. Okay, so I have no attachment to any of these talking points. The natural patriarchy thing is just not true. First of all, if you just look in the modern era on jobs, there is no evidence that women are less capable of jobs and social positions that men predominantly hold. I'm totally open to exploring interest level in some of those positions among gender lines. And when we talk about, well, there's certain jobs that men versus women are more interested in, I'm totally fine having the conversation as to whether the difference in interest is societally imposed by stereotypes or for some inherent reason. The right loves to say, oh, leftists don't want to ask these questions. Ask them. I mean, when you think back to the Larry Summers Harvard comment about something about math makes women less suited, or like whatever he said, I have no problem exploring whether there is some basis on which women are less suited to math. I've seen no evidence that that's the case. And so if we don't have evidence, we shouldn't repeat it. But the idea that these things are taboo, they're not taboo for me. And there is no evidence that women are less capable of the jobs and social positions that men predominantly hold that I have seen. Now, it's also fine to acknowledge there are biological differences between men and women. Biological men don't breastfeed. Biological men can't get pregnant. But this idea of the natural state of the patriarchy is a lame one. And it is also a relatively recent thing. There's some very interesting evidence that patriarchal societies don't date back more than 10,000 years. Humans appear to have been significantly egalitarian for a very long time, if you go back and look further. And one reason that we suspect that is the relatively similar size of human males and females. Yes, human males are bigger than females, but the disparity is much smaller of all of the great apes. And that is a clue. It's not proof, but it's a clue that male dominance does not seem to have been as important a driving force in the development of humanity as people like Tucker Carlson and Jason Whitlock might propose. So, it's not even clear I needed to give this much explanation, but the things which Jason Whitlock and Tucker are just kind of casually ranting about and citing God and, they don't allow you to say this anymore, or whatever. These are topics of academic interest, and we do actually know more than what Jason Whitlock's pastor says. Or minister, whoever is on his show. So, I don't know that there's much value in this program that Tucker does, but they actually are raising interesting topics. Their understanding of them is completely wrong, but these are interesting topics for sure. Even if, like me, you're not vegan and you're not vegetarian, eating a more plant-based diet is a really great thing to do for a number of different reasons. And our sponsor, Just Egg, is the delicious plant-based egg. You can use it anywhere you use traditional eggs because the taste and texture are identical, but Just Egg plant-based eggs have the same amount of protein as traditional eggs. I use it all the time at home. You can make fluffy scrambled eggs. You can make omelets. You can make quiche, frittata, crepes, fried rice. You should see my fried rice recipe. You can really use it anywhere in baking or anywhere you would use traditional eggs. When I first tried Just Egg, I was surprised that a plant-based egg could both taste and cook just like traditional eggs. You can get it at the grocery store, Instacart, Amazon. Go try it. Eating a more plant-based diet is a great decision. I do it, and I'm not vegan or vegetarian, and Just Egg makes it that much more easy and delicious.